What if I told you it's not so much what I do, but it's what I don't do that allows me to do things like post these videos, do live streams, post a bunch of short clips and things of that nature for you guys on this channel while continuing to build my own pest control business at the same time? I get a lot of questions about how do you even do it? Like I even had somebody on this channel even a couple years ago question are you even really doing a pest control business? Because they're like, how do you have enough time to actually upload as much as you're uploading? And let me be frank, yes, it requires a lot of sacrifice. I don't do a lot of stuff that quote unquote normal people do. I don't even own an Xbox or any type of gaming system or anything like that, which seems like nowadays for people into their 20s and 30s is like, what? How do you even manage to do that in today's day and age? I don't really do social media outside of YouTube and our Facebook group and Discord group, which by the way, even the Facebook group I have to access through desktop because I don't have any social media platforms on my phone anymore outside of Discord and YouTube. And there's plenty of other sacrifices too. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that literally all I do is work, but I would say a majority of the time that I am awake, I am working. And because more days than not, I try to get an early jump on the day. Like for example, right now it is a Sunday. Most people would be sleeping in till 9, 10, maybe 8 if you're just naturally kind of an earlier riser, like 7:30, 8 o'clock. I woke up, right now at the time of me shooting this video, it is 6:17 a.m. and I've actually ran this recording a couple different times already. I woke up at 5:15 this morning, got the day started. You guys probably can't see, but the building in the background, it's not my home, it's actually my gym. So literally I'm hitting the ground running just like any normal day. That's the difference. Like I said, it's not so much what I'm doing. Yes, don't get me wrong, doing these habits like going to the gym, doing this, doing that, obviously that's gonna help. But again, the point is what I don't do. What I don't do is treat my Saturdays, Sundays, Friday evenings, that's 2 or 3 days out of your week. If you're spending 2 or 3 days out of your week treating them as days off or days to unwind or whatever the case may be, guess what? Multiply that out. Let's just say 2 days a week. Let's say you just take Saturday, Sunday and say, look, I'm just not doing anything those days. That's 104 freaking days out of the year. And again, I'm not saying you have to work every single day, but let's just say instead of saying, just F everything, F my habits, F it all, say instead what you did is okay, I know that, if you're a Christian like me, you're like, okay, I know I need to technically have one day off, 24 hours. So what I do is I say, okay, I'm going to get up Saturday, do what I need to do, regardless if it's go to the gym, pump out some blog posts, do some follow-up, whatever I need to do. And then later on Saturday afternoon or evening, that is when my quote unquote day off begins. And then of course I go to church Sunday, which is why I'm getting here even earlier on a Sunday morning, because we have to go earlier than usual. So I'm getting a jump on the day Sunday in terms of just going to the gym, because I don't see that as work. That's just a daily habit. But again, my day off is continuing, and then once I hit around 24 hours, guess what? That's my whole day off. And it's not perfect either, by the way. I had to kind of piece it together this weekend. My wife, of course, has her photography business. So instead of me doing what I would consider my traditional day off, or okay, usually around noon to 4 p.m. ish, I'm gonna go ahead and start my day off where I'm not really doing much of anything outside of maybe going to the gym, just some usual stuff that I like to do more than anything. I don't really see it as work. Instead, what I had to do was, okay, my wife had to leave, sometime around 1 o'clock yesterday. So I had to focus on my kids from 1 to 7 or 8 p.m. roughly. So that was a few hours already over here. Well, then when my wife got back, I started to dive a little bit more back into some stuff that I needed to get done in terms of creating some custom GPTs and things of that nature, which I'll have more videos for you guys on this channel about that. And then around 8:30, maybe 9:30 at the latest last night, I wrapped actually I think it was 10:30 last night. I wrapped everything up, closed the laptop up, went to bed, kind of resumed the day off, so to speak. And now I'm continuing up until probably sometime later on this afternoon. I'm assuming around 1 to 5 o'clock, I'll probably start getting back into somewhat of a work rhythm in terms of just doing other things that need to be done. But that is what my weekend kind of consists of, just to give you guys just a very, very, very tiny look into just, again, it's not so much what I do, it's what I don't do. Compare that just to what most people will do starting as early as like Thursday or Friday, where it's like as soon as I'm done working, I'm going out drinking, or I'm going out, to dinner with family, or whatever the case may be. And don't get me wrong, some of that stuff is needed. I'm not saying that like every single weekend is like this. There's obviously weekends where like, there's birthday functions or whatever the case may be that come up, but more weekends than not, I am literally just, continuing as if it's another day, and then keeping in the back of my mind and on my Google Calendar that like, hey, I need to plan for this time off, because like I said, I don't want to preach like this hustle culture of like, oh, you need to work 30 hours out of 24, like, no, like you do need to get rest, but there's a difference between rest versus just screwing off at the end of the day. And like I said, say you just gain back 1 day per week. I'm not saying again that you should work Saturday, Sunday, every single day has to be go, but let's just say you started out with saying, you know what, Saturdays, I'm not working out in the field, in the case of like a pest control business owner, pest control technician, whatever stage you may be at for those of you watching this video. But let's say you're like, okay, I'm going to take my Saturdays and that's going to be my day to focus on, maybe you don't have like an admin assistant yet. So you're like, I need to focus on admin work, or I need to focus on, editing our Google ads, or, we need to dial in, our automations with monthly billing. You flip your Saturday into what would normally be a day that you're just kind of screwing off, sitting on the couch, wasting money, wasting time, wasting 52 days a freaking year. And instead you go and pump that into your business, or, whatever the case may be. So again, I cannot stress enough, it's not so much what you're doing with that time, because a lot of people get caught up thinking like, well, what am I going to do? Trust me, guys, you give yourself that extra like 1 day a week, half a day a week, day and a half a week, whatever the case may be for you. I mean, shoot, I know some people that are only working on their business like 3 to 4 days a week. And I'm like, well, no wonder you're not getting the results. I'm working, 5.5 to 7 days a week. You're working 4. Like, no wonder you're not getting the results that you want. But so many people, when you bring up this subject of like getting time back, they're like, well, what am I going to do? Trust me, if you're being intentional with your time, that time that you unlock will fill itself very, very quickly, especially if you utilize these free tools like Google Calendar and these different quote unquote productivity tools to help keep you on track. Like me personally, I use my Google Calendar a lot. There's days where I kind of slack off, don't use it very much. And then the other thing too is like people look at the Google Calendar and think like, oh my gosh, like your day is like so set, and it's like, no, that's just an outline for the day. Rarely ever, I would say maybe 1 day every week or so, does the Google Calendar just go perfectly as planned. I don't even know if 1 day a week, I'd say like 1 day a month maybe, that the calendar just goes exactly as planned, but at least it gives you an outline on like, okay, in terms of my task specifically, I have time allocated for this, I have a time block allocated for that. And you should only have 3 to 5 like what I would consider very important tasks that have to be done every single day. And there's tons of successful people, like very, very successful people like Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, all these guys who, they even mention like, look, I only focus on like 1 task a day, 3 tasks a day. I think Andy Frisella, a guy who created 75 Hard, CEO of First Form and Supplement Superstores, I believe he created what's called the Power List, which I forget, it's either 3 or 5 tasks per day, what are like your critical tasks. Like everybody that I have focused on in terms, because I know that you don't want to try to recreate the wheel in terms of success, just copy what other people are doing. And almost none of them say, oh man, like I'm doing 100 things a day, I'm going 1,000 miles an hour, They're like, no, like I'm focusing on this 1 task today, I'm focusing on these 3, 4, maybe 5 tasks at the most, because you only have so much energy in a given day, which is a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. But how are you going to put all your energy into these tasks and get the most optimal results to take your business and your life to the next level if you're trying to stretch it out over 10, 20, 30, 50 different things in a day? And I'll get in another video like how I utilize the Google Calendar and link it up with like our CRM and things like that, just to kind of give you guys an idea of how I actually utilize these tools to help me, stay on track and, grow our business and, just help, kind of unlock my life to a degree. Because you can get almost too focused if you're not careful, but that is, you know, kind of part of the journey at the end of the day. But let me quit rambling. I gotta go crush my workout. It's about 6:30 already. I've been trying to shoot this video for like the last half an hour. Hopefully you guys did take some type of valuable information from it. I'm a little groggy this morning, so I apologize in advance. There was no script or anything. This was just a quick off the top of the head, you know, video idea I wanted to do for you guys real quick this weekend. And hopefully you guys, like I said, took some type of valuable information from it. If you did, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. And if you enjoyed the content, I post a lot of stuff like this, and we have like over 1,000 videos at this point on this channel to help you start and grow your home service business. And if you don't know who I am, of course, my name is Griffin Thomas. I own my own pest control company, specifically in the Dallas, Texas area, Preferred Pest Management. We've been in business about 5 years now, and on my channel overall, I just document my entire entrepreneurial journey for you guys. I've been at this business thing for like 10 years now, ever since I pretty much graduated high school. I took my pest control business from 0 to 6 figures in 1 year. We hired finally like 2 employees over the last, 3 to 6 months full time, and we're working our way up to that 7-figure range at rapid pace. So if any of that interests you, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll make sure to put some videos, I believe, on this side. Like I always say, I always forget which side they're going to be on. I believe over here, and there's going to be, I believe, a playlist and then a video. Either one will benefit you guys greatly.